All right, let's get started here. How's everybody feeling? Hope everybody is doing okay. Um, After the first project, right? Everybody's doing good. Um, so let's get started here. Yep. Can I see in the chat room how everybody's doing? Great, 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 great. So Kojo says great. William says yes. Everybody doing good. Chris said great. All right. All right. All right. Okay. Francis said good. Excellent. Good, good. All right. That's nice. That's nice to hear. Okay. All right. So today we're going to kick off with Agile. We're going to kick off with Agile. And over the past couple of weeks, I think about 2 weeks or so, more than 2 weeks. Yeah, more than two weeks. We've been talking about waterfall as a product delivery model, right? We've been highlighting and we've been focusing on waterfall as a methodology for um, developing and deploying solution, right? As a product delivery model, a methodology. From today going, we want to shift our attention, and then we're going to start talking and driving agile, right? It's going to be agile all the way till the end, right? From today going, even though, like I said last night, we still have one or two assignments to do, a couple of assignments to do, and this assignment, the approach will still be waterfall, right? You guys will still do the BRDs and whatnot, business requirement documentation. You guys will turn them in, same way like you did for the first project. But don't lose your work, don't lose your note, because we're going to be using the same artifacts. We're going to be using the same product or project artifacts in delivering the same kind of work in Agile. You guys will use the same thing, the same note, the same product features whilst we are transitioning into Agile in your Jira tool. So don't lose it, right? Don't lose whatever that you have, thinking that, oh, waterfall is over. No, it's still going to be relevant, right? So don't lose it. So today we're going to start with Agile. Agile really is very interesting. It's fun. It's exciting. It is not typically boring like waterfall, right? So in Agile, just like we talked about the last time with waterfall, and I think when we ended with waterfall, with the problem with waterfall, with the issues that we are likely to face when we are using waterfall. So a typical example is when, because of the approach or the nature of waterfall, where when you start a project, you keep going, and then you turn it over to QA. QA will test, and then QA will also turn it over to operations team, and then that's it. You guys will deploy it, and then the work is done, right? But in Agile, the delivery model or the development approach or methodology is a little bit different. Agile, especially, is characterized by incremental release and incremental planning of product feature sets, right? So that means we break the work down into multiple phases, into several iterations, right? So we break the task down, right, and say, well, even though this is what we want to build, just like the assignment that you guys did, the embedded lending platform assignment you guys did, the project. So just like that project, if we were using an Agile, all the things that we want to build, they are great. In a typical waterfall fashion, we will start from the beginning, and then we will deploy every bit of the feature that is out there, and then we will say we are done. But in a typical Agile kind of approach or methodology, we will break all these features down, and then we will define, or we will get what we call MVP. MVP is what we call minimal viable product, right? Keep that in mind, guys. Anytime you hear MVP, MVP is minimum viable product. So we have a lot of wish lists, a lot of things that we want to build, but obviously, due to some constraint by resources, time, and other type of constraint, we're not going to be able to push all these product feature sets in a month, in one sprint. And so what do? We break them down, taking the most important features out of the door first, and then we begin to build on it, right? So incrementally is a very it's one of the big keyword you guys have to keep in mind whilst we're starting with Agile. Incremental release of all these feature sets, right? So different phases, and then frequent reassessment and adaptation of plans, right? That is what Agile professes. So let's get into Agile. Let's now begin to learn about Agile and what it is. So just like we started with a waterfall, we look at different platforms. For instance, you look at State Farm, right? If you're looking at this, State Farm, yes, it's an insurance company, but they're also into banking. They're also into investment. They're into all sort of things, right? All these features that you are likely to see on State Farm's insurance portal. As we see this today, it was not done overnight, right? And I know you guys agree with me. All these product feature sets that you're likely to find if you're a State Farm customer, when you log into your insurance portal, personal portal, whether you're filing a claim or whatever that you're doing, there's so many exciting features out here, but it was not done overnight. It was not deployed overnight. It was done incrementally. And so the same approach, just like we use for waterfall, that's the same approach. But over here, the emphasis is on, prioritization. Which one is important first? Which one do we need to shape out? Which one is a go or no go? Which one does our customers, they need to have this, right? They really got to have these features, they need to start using these features, right? So we look at it that way. Then we begin to plan. Once we plan, we ship this out, we develop, we ship this out, and then we plan again. So that is all about Agile. Agile is, it's a very fast lane. It's fast lane, compared to waterfall, right? So we take a look at every module: insurance, banking, investment, get a quote, pay a bill, claims, find an agent. If you can see from the top, from the header menu at the top, you see there are so many features out here. All these things, if we were building it using an Agile, we're going to build every feature that is under banking, investment at the same time. We're going to prioritize. We're going to pick up some few features, and then we'll ship it out, and then we go to the next one. And then as we do this, we'll look back to what we have done, or reassess our work, and we correct our mistakes, and then we plan again, we prioritize again, and then we ship out. That is all about Agile, guys. So State Farm, Wells Fargo, same kind of approach, right? We will use the same delivery methodology, the same delivery approach. We look at the product, we look at it, we break the task into multiple phases and several iterations, and then we say, okay, what's going to be our MVP? What was going to be the product feature set that we need most, right? I hope you guys remember the acronym Moscow, right? You guys remember Moscow? So must or should, could or would, right? There are certain feature sets that are could or would. Well, it's nice, it's great to have it, but if we don't have it today, that does not mean there's going to be a showstopper, right? Anytime you hear the keyword showstopper, that means nothing works, right? Anytime you hear that we have a P1 issue or we have a showstopper, that means it's getting crazy. It's getting we're getting ourselves into a mess, right? So that means there's a crazy thing going on. Nothing can be done. You cannot log in. You can't do anything, right? So it is not going to be a showstopper for us, right? It's a could or would. It's nice to have, but we can definitely get down with it. But if it's not done today, it's okay. It's cool. We can get it next month. We can plan and prioritize, for those features, right? So, and then must or should, definitely we need these features to go in. This is a must. That means we need it in. If it's a should, it has to go in, right? So that's the kind of priority lanes that you guys have to master. You guys have to keep in mind as well. So just like we did for waterfall for all these platforms. The exact same approach we're going to be taking for all these platforms again, right? I'm thinking of maybe giving you guys some insurance or maybe some other platform like that in the agile, some of the agile projects. We'll think about it. All right, so now let's take a look at the agile methodology or the practice, right? So let's look at agile methodology or practice. What is agile methodology, right? So agile methodology is a practice that promotes continuous iteration, right? Keep in mind, iteration is a practice that promotes continuous iteration of development and testing throughout the software development lifecycle of the project, right? In the agile model, guys, both development and testing activities are concurrent, unlike the waterfall model. So if you look at the waterfall module very well, you elicit requirement, you come to the planning, the design, development, testing. It is waterfall, just like the rain, drop from the top to bottom. But with agile, we can go several ways. We can go north, east, south, east, west, anywhere, right? With agile, continuous iteration, yes, it's going to be step by step. But with agile, what is happening is that we will be doing development and testing concurrently. So that means as development team, they finish with one feature, we're going to be testing. As they do another feature, we're going to be testing. So we are not going to wait for the entire system or the entire project to be done before they will hand it over, right? We will need to cut a tape, cut a sword, do open ceremonies, and call the TV stations to come and do all those type of things, capture us before we hand over to QA. Just like waterfall. No, in agile, as and when they get done, we are testing. As and when they get done, we are testing. So we don't wait for them to hand over the entire system. Whatever piece, whatever functionality, whatever feature set is done, we test it. That's how we move. So development work and testing activities are what? Concurrent. That is what this means. Are what? Concurrent. Guys, keep in mind. So in agile model, both development work and testing activities are what? Concurrent. And agile methodology as well is a practice that promotes what? Continuous iteration. We are constantly in that mode, right? We are always planning. We are always releasing a feature. We have sprints, right? That is how we do this over here. All right, moving on. So agile software development. So what is agile software development? So let's dig more. Let's take a deep dive, right? Let's take a deep dive, guys. So agile software development methodology is one of the simplest and effective processes to turn a vision for a business need into a software solution, right? What does it mean? So agile is a term that is used to describe the software development approaches that employ continual planning, learning, improvement, team collaboration, evolution development, and early delivery, right? It encourages flexible responses to change. Unlike waterfall, when something is done or something is broken at the very tail end, it's going to be really tough, guys. It's going to be really difficult to go back. It's not like it's impossible. It's possible, but you're going to be breaking a whole lot of things again, and you have to do a lot of rework, right? Unlike that methodology, agile, we are flexible and we respond to change. This is awesome. This is exciting, right? And you guys will see this as we begin to get into projects. We begin to, do some hands-on. All right. So, but there's a keywords here that I want you guys to focus here. It's about continual planning. We are always planning, right? So that means that when we start one sprint, when we prioritize a certain product feature set or a handful of product feature sets, right? We get done with it. And even before we get done with those maybe 5, 4, 3 product feature sets, we are already planning for the next one, right? So that is what we say continual planning. So we are always planning. What's next? What's next? What's next? What's next? So when we start with sprint 1, right? We move on to sprint 2. Then we move on to sprint 3. We move on to sprint 4. We move on to 5, right? So we plan. As we are even developing the 5, we are on sprint 5. We are planning for sprint 6. And then whilst we are on 6, we are planning for sprint 7. right? We're doing that. It's a continual planning. And sometimes not just sprints or the short iterations, but sometimes we even plan for the whole year, right? So some of you, that will be, I know some of you will be doing, product managers, will be filling product managers role. You're going to have a responsibility to come out with, the vision and roadmap for your product, right? Some of you, you're going to be doing that. You're going to be doing that. You're going to be, you're going to be responsible for working on product feature set, roadmap. And so it's not going to be by sprint or short iteration, but you plan by, let's say like for the whole year, maybe a quarter, right? Maybe 3 months or maybe half a year. So you plan ahead like that. You are ahead of the game. You are ahead of the team. You're always planning in advance, right? You don't plan with a team because, that's going to be chaos. It's going to be disaster if you are planning and the team is also doing the same work with you at the same time. No. So you are in the future. You're planning ahead of them on what they're going to be working on when they get to that moment or that time, right? So you are ahead of them all the time when you're a product manager. And then when you're a product owner, to the same thing, you collaborate with the product, the product manager as well. You team up with that individual stakeholders, different subject matter experts. You guys all work together to be able to prioritize and plan ahead of time, right? So continual planning, that's what that means. Continuous learning. This is also very important. Agile. With Agile, we want to learn. We are not afraid to make mistakes, right? We are not afraid to make mistakes. It's what? Learning. We are always in the mode to learn. What method? What can we adapt? Is there any new technique somewhere that we can adapt? So Agile, we are always in constant mode. We are always in like a situation of learning, right? We always want to learn. We always want to learn. We have that posture, right? You need to have that learning posture where you always want to absorb in something. You want to learn a new technique, new way of doing something. So that is what Agile, right, promotes. Always about what? Learning. Always about improvement, right? We as a team, when I say we, I'm talking about a team. As we plan, we develop, we test, we ship, we always want to look back to what we have done as a team, and then we talk to ourselves and say, what can we improve? What can we get better at, right? So improvement, that is one thing that Agile also promotes as well and encourages as well, right? Improvement. So continual learning, planning, improvement, team collaboration, right? So as compared to waterfall, where, if you are a PO or a business analyst or any of those roles and you elicit requirements with different stakeholders, in Agile, you collaborate, right? You guys you have the opportunity to collaborate with maybe some tech leads, some others, solution architects, some other people like that, other folks like that. And you guys will be, you schedule meetings with stakeholders, there are different stakeholders, and then you guys, will what? It's going to be a team collaboration effort when it comes to requirement elicitation. They'll be asking questions, some of the things that you will not even think about, or you will not, it's not even coming to mind. They will be doing that for you, right? So, but that does not exonerate you guys. Let me also, say a question over here. That does not exonerate you from your duty to ask a relevant question about, during the elicitation period, right? So team collaboration, you're going to have also the people as part of, the meeting with stakeholders, and you guys will be asking relevant questions. So Agile promotes team collaboration and not a one-man show, right? This is not a one-man band. You play the guitar, you play the piano, you play the bass, you play everything, drums. This is not a one-man show. It's about team effort, team collaboration, right? So that's very important. And then early delivery, right? Early delivery is also very important. We got to be able to ship out early. So Agile, the methodology or the practice here, it encourages early delivery. So instead of waiting for 9 months, 10 months, or sometimes even a whole year, sometimes even more than a year, before we will be able to see a product feature set that actually work, before you guys can demo to us a product feature with Agile, because we have prioritized a handful of features, guys, we are able to finish that up, and we are able to show to stakeholders that this is what we have done. It's a working software, right? Early delivery, guys. This keyword is going to play a very important role, right, in this journey of Agile, right? Early delivery. We don't wait. So whatever feature that we want to ship out, after that feature is done, is tested, we can ship it out. We can deploy it. It can go live, right? That is what I want to say. It can go live. It can go live. That means customers can start using it the next day. Once it's done, it's tested, everything looks good. All right, let's go ahead. Let's ship it out. We deploy it. But then we go to the next feature. So we don't wait till all the product features are done before we schedule a night, a vigil, a day, and not midnight, and say now we are not going to deploy. No. With Agile, once we are done, if it is the company's policy for us to ship out, we go ahead to ship out. So early delivery. That is one good thing I love about Agile, right? Early delivery. We're able to show to our stakeholders that, see what we have done. You said you wanted this feature. See how cool this is. And so I say, yeah, I like it, right? The key word here is that the stakeholder is going to love it and not going to tell them, no, this is not what I wanted, right? If the stakeholder says, no, this is what I said you should go and build, that means we got to go back and do our homework, right? But hopefully that is the same feature that the stakeholder asks, and then we have built it, so he or she is going to love it and say, yes, this is the future. Let's go ahead and ship it out, right? And then it encourages flexible responses to change. So, in Agile, unlike Waterfall, where we have a period, just like I show you guys an example, where number of days, 17 days, 20 days, 30 days, 60 days, where you'll be doing elicitation only. No. In Agile, you gather one feature, you take one feature, you start running with it, and then you go for another one. And then even when the other one is being done, or at some point in time that we will not compromise the quality of our code or something, we can still take change from our stakeholders, right? The owners. We can still take change. We can still entertain changes, right, in our environment. So Agile, again, it encourages flexible response to change, right? The stakeholder can come back and say, I want this, I want that, I want this. I got, can you guys change this for me? Sure, why not? We can do that for you. We are here because of you, right? We want to make our stakeholders happy. we want to make our stakeholders happy, right? They tell us, can you guys do this? Yes, we can do this. All right. Now, you guys will have to memorize this. So, when I wake you up, I say, what is the Agile Manifesto? You got to tell me all these four, right? You got to tell me the Agile Manifesto. So, number one, let's take the manifesto, right? Agile Manifesto. You guys have to memorize this. This is not NDC MPP Manifesto. If you are from Ghana, you're watching this video, right? Because I know some of the manifestos, they will say it, but nothing can be taken serious, right? But here, when we say this, our manifesto, we're working with it. When we say this, our manifesto, that means we will adhere to this principle, we will adhere to this belief, and we will work with these core values, right, that we have. So, Agile Manifesto, number one, individual and team interactions over processes and tools. So here, what does this mean? It means that in Agile, we uphold, we revere individual and team interactions over process and tools. We don't want tools and processes. Go here after this, steps. This is step one. After step one, you go to step two. No. In Agile, we can crisscross anyhow we want, as long as we have a working product out there. That is what we expect, right? We have a lot of respect for individual and team interactions over processes and tools. Oh, no, go and send me an email. Oh, no. You're supposed to send a request to this email first, and then they will see the email, and then they will respond to it, and then processes, right? No. In Agile, you can walk to the person's desk. For now that we are all in COVID situation and all the jobs, and all the roles are all remotely being done, that means you can ping the person, right? You can ping the person. When you ping the person, either on Microsoft Teams or maybe on Slack or whatever the communication channel might be, when you ping the individual, they respond to you. So you don't need processes and you don't need, requests, and you don't have to follow any SOPs, right? Some procedures to be able to get things done. So we respect and we honor individual and team interactions over processes and tools. So keep in mind, guys. So Kojo, I know you taking this. So by tomorrow morning, I'll call you on the phone and say, Kojo, what is the Agile Manifesto? And you got to be able to tell me, right? So number 2, working software over comprehensive documentation. Working software over comprehensive documentation. This is core. This is key. This is fundamental when it comes to Agile. Why? Agile, we don't do so much of business requirement documents. You see, in your waterfall project, you guys were doing all this documentation, different sessions in the document, the scope of the project, use cases, functional requirement, non-functional requirement. You do all those type of things. After that, sometimes you have to work on process flow diagrams. You work on so many things. In Agile, what we want, can you show me that the software is working? That's all. As long as you click, you're able to process application, you're able to get whatever you need. That's all I need. I need that. I don't need documentation. Don't show me document. I don't want document. Document is not the expected outcome. It is not the benefit that I want. I want a working software, right? Isn't this cool, guys? I know this is cool, right? So Agile, they want a working software. Don't give us 50-page document of what is going to be done. Just show me what has been done and not what is going to be done, right? So working software over a comprehensive documentation. Can you just show me that the application work? Can you just show me that the system work, right? Don't show me 100-page documentation and then you try to tell me, oh, this is where we're going to build. And then you go to page 25 and then you show the person. After this, we'll move on to this step over here, and then we do this. And then page 65, you show stakeholder, this is what we're going to know. In Agile, stakeholders and owners of the platform, they want to see a working software, guys. Keep in mind, that is manifesto, right? Manifesto number 2. And again, it is not like the other manifesto that we all know from where we are coming from, right? If you're watching this video and you don't come from, you're not from Africa, you're not from Ghana, I'm sorry, but you're missing a lot because we ask for our manifestos from our homeland, Ghana. It's interesting, it's exciting, but we like it like that, right? There's a lot of pop and pageantry, a whole week celebration about manifesto launch, but at the end of the day, nothing gets done. But that is us, right? All right, manifesto number 3. Let's go. All right, customer collaboration over contract negotiation, right? Customer collaboration over contract negotiation. This is explicit enough. This is self-explanatory enough, right? So here, what we mean by customer collaboration over contract negotiation is that, hey, in Agile, we don't want to sit down with stakeholder negotiating on the cost, budget, all those type of things, right? And then do all this negotiation for months before things get done, right? We want to be able to collaborate with the stakeholder, not to talk about budget and negotiations and long, requirement negotiation. Is this done? Is this how you want it? No, we want to be able to grab a piece of that feature and then collaborate with you. And as we begin development work, we are collaborating with you. We are asking you. We're taking your input. We're taking your feedback. We're correcting certain things. We're making changes. That is how things get done. That is how things get done with Agile. So customer collaboration over contract negotiation. So to wait for months before we come to an agreement and say, This is what we're going to be doing. You guys agree, you sign off on it. You know, we need to take a picture of the sign off event, do all those type of, theatrics. No. We are not interested in that, in those, theatrics when it comes to Agile, right? So in Agile, customer collaboration, let's get the work done, guys. Let's get the work done, and let's not worry about all this, contract stuff, right? And then the last one, which is also very, very, very important. Very important, guys. This last one, I want you guys to keep in mind. Responding to change over following a plan, right? Responding to change over following a plan. In Agile, we respond to change. Even though not all changes are going to be guaranteed, we will not entertain change at some point in time of development, but we want to be able to have that open arms posture, right? Where we welcome the feedback, input of our stakeholders, and then we try and see, we will do our possible best. We will try as much as possible to accommodate their needs, right? We'll try as much as possible to accommodate their needs and say, what do you want? What do you want to change? The stakeholder, I've had a meeting with the stakeholder today. Today's what day? Thursday. Okay. And then the stakeholder come back Tuesday and they say, I had a dream. I think I will change this. I think, I was hit by some light bulb. I've got some creative idea. I want to change this, and I want us to take a different time with this approach that we initially discussed last week. We will accept it, right? We will accept it. When it is done and dusted in a waterfall type of situation, you have to. It's a tall order. We call something change management, and I will take you guys through a couple of sessions talking about change management and the processes involved, right? In waterfall, you have to go through a change management order, a very tall order, right? Different steps, approach. It will have to go to a committee. The committee will have to sign off on it and approve of that, change that you're bringing. It's a whole mess with waterfall. But in Agile, no, this is for you. This platform is for you. Whatever you like, right? Like, who sang that song? Whatever you like, you can have whatever you like, right? So we respond to change over following steps, plan, right? No. So this is the Agile Manifesto, guys. This is a exciting manifesto. This is good news manifesto, right? I know back some years ago, some people had a good news manifesto or good news, whatever. So this is exciting manifesto, right? This is going to be our core values. We're going to be abiding by this, right? This is going to be our Bible. This is the truth and nothing else but the truth, right? So this is going to be our Bible as we move forward. This is our Agile Bible, right? The truth. Okay. Now let's talk about some frameworks, right? In Agile, there are a couple of frameworks, but there are two frameworks that are very popular, and we will sort of stick with these two. But I'll tell you about some other ones, and you guys are welcome to do your own research, learn about it, and study on the other frameworks, right? You guys are welcome to do that. But the popular, the two popular frameworks in Agile is what we call SCRUM and then KANBAN, right? SCRUM and KANBAN. And you guys will be working, you guys are definitely going to be working with SCRUM, Agile Scrum. You guys will hear Agile Scrum, Agile Scrum, Agile KANBAN, Agile Scrum. These are the popular frameworks that are very common, right? Most organizations, they've adopted Scrum. Some are using KANBAN as well. Some are also using a hybrid. They are using a little bit of KANBAN, and they're also doing a little bit of Scrum as well. But yeah, we'll talk about these two, right? So let's start with KANBAN. So let's start with KANBAN, guys. So KANBAN, what we want to say is that in Agile, these two popular frameworks, very, very popular. That's what everybody uses. But KANBAN, we pick up a set or a handful of product feature sets, right? The idea is that the stakeholder has given us a whole lot of product feature sets. I want this. So, let's think about this. Let's say on a church platform, right? On a church platform, the stakeholder might say, well, on a church platform, I want our members or visitors, the site visitors, to be able to watch our Bible studies live Wednesday. We want them to be able to watch our service on Friday night as well, our Sunday morning, service. We want them to be able to watch, all live services on the platform. We also want, our members to be able to contribute for other projects. They can pay their offering, pay their tithing, pay, for support us on other projects or online. We're going to have different payment gateway integrations on our platform so that our members can do that. We'll also want a prayer request, feature where members can get on the platform and then they can request for prayer, right? If you're in need of a prayer for something, you can get on the platform, you can do that. So there's so many features, Sunday school, media gallery. You go over there, you're able to watch old sermons and old audio and video, both audio and video sermons. You go over there, you get all these features out there, right? You can see the profile of our pastor. You can interact with our pastor, send a message to our pastor. These are all features that are out there. If you want to locate us, there can be a feature on our platform where when you type in your zip code, it will essentially display all the churches. Maybe if you're in a couple of states or a handful of states, you will get to know our location. It will show you which one is closest to where you are, right? So there's so many features that we can have on our church platform, right? Conferences that are coming up, people can sign up, they can register for these conferences, youth conference, whatever, men conference, women's wing conference. They can do all those type of things on our platform, right? So we are very busy. We're very busy. So if you look at all these things that I've just talked about, right? More than 10 feature sets. It's going to be about 25 to maybe 30 or something, if I'm breaking it down, right? Now, with Kanban, what we want to do here with all these features I've just listed is that we take a handful based on the resources, the team members that we have, our capacity, right? It's going to be based off hugely on our bandwidth, right? If we have a lower bandwidth of resources, we can take in some light weight of work, and then once we get done, we are done, right? But in Kanban, what Kanban does is that we pick up some few project feature sets, and then we start working on it. And then so let's say if 5 product feature sets is what we are able to accommodate at any time. Once we pick the 5, until one of these feature set is done, we cannot pick any other product feature set and start working on it, right? Because there's no space for us to take in any other additional work, right? So it's like 5 lanes. So lane 1, lane 2, lane 3, lane 4, lane 5. They are all filled with product features that we are building, right? I'm giving you an imaginary, illustration of this. So I want you to picture this: 5 lanes. Lane 1, a different product feature sets. Lane 2, another product feature set. Lane 3, lane 4, 5, same product feature sets, right? So until maybe lane 2, where we have maybe the tithing payment, maybe with PayPal, or maybe something, we cannot, if that feature set is not completed and move from that lane, we cannot add any feature from our backlog, right? Or features that we want to build. I hope this is clear enough. Yeah. All right. So that is what Kanban. So Kanban, we don't have any time box. We are not time box. There's no any time iteration, no sprint, nothing. We just get done when we get done. So until one item gets moved from the lane, that means it's done, then we will pull something from the backlog and then we'll start developing that one too, right? So that is how Kanban is done. So Kanban team focus on reducing the time it takes to take the project or the user story from start to finish. They do this by using Kanban board, continuously improving their flow of work. So that is how we move. We move on the board, we take items, the lanes, and then we say this is done, we move it, and then we pick up new item, and then we start working on it, right? Now, unlike Kanban, when you look at SCRUM, right, Agile SCRUM, with SCRUM, we are not going to just go by when something is done and then we move one. No. We pick up the same set of feature sets, but we are bound by time, we are bound by time. I want you guys to keep this in mind. We are bound by time. So typically, most organizations, they have what we call the 2 weeks release cycle. 2 weeks. Most companies do a lot of the 2 week cycle. Others also do maybe 3 weeks. Others do 4 week cycle, right? So some of you guys be working on companies that maybe they are doing 2 weeks release cycle with Scrum, and some of you also be doing maybe 3 or 4 weeks. But whichever be the case, there's going to be some interval, a set interval that we call sprint or release iteration cycle, where we pick up these same 5 items just like we did for Kanban, but this time around we are time boxed, right? We have time boxed, we are time bound. So we have 2 weeks to finish. So typically, if let's say we started this sprint or we started this week Monday and today is Thursday, that means by next week Friday we should be done. I hope this is clear enough. Let me see a yes, yes, yes in the chat box that you guys are following what I'm saying. Let me see a yes, 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 yes in the chat box. So let's say if we started Monday, because we have 2 weeks release cycle, right? 2 weeks release cycle, the same amount of work, 5 stories that we have picked or 5 product features that we have picked. Once we start developing, we started on Monday, today is Thursday, 4 days into our sprint. By next week, Friday, which will be 2 weeks, that is how we count it. By next week, Friday, everything should be done, right? Everything is all done. It's done. And then by the following week, Monday, which is going to be May 3rd, right? May 3rd is going to be the Monday. By that Monday, we are starting a new fresh sprint. New sprint is going to start again. And then we're going to start counting again another 14 days, right? That is how Scrum is done. So Scrum, we have time box iterations. That means we have release or sprint cycles where we need to be able to ship out this product feature sets, right? Kanban, there is no time box. When we get done, we get done. No, here we are not doing that on Scrum. Scrum, we are time box. We are working with time, right? We have so many things that we need to develop. We have so many product feature set that we want to do, right? So in Scrum, once we started, we are counting down, right? We are counting down already. So typically, you will see that you're on the Jira board. If you guys start your sprint, you're going to start counting down from 14 days, and then you guys will see, 7 days left, 4 days left, 3 days left, 2 days left. Then you know that the sprint is gradually coming to an end, right? So that is the difference between Scrum and then Kanban, right? The difference between Scrum and Kanban. I hope you guys get this concept very well, right? So Kanban and Scrum, that is the difference. So one, there is a time box. The other one, there is no time box, right? So typically like this, when you see the calendar, right? So I have a calendar here on my screen. Hope you guys are paying attention here. So February 2021. Monday, February 1, right? February 1st, Monday, February 1. We start a new sprint. I want to see in the chat box, we have 14 days release cycle. When is this sprint going to end? Let's say this is sprint 1. When do we have sprint 1 ending? I want you guys to put in the chat box so that I know that you guys, you guys are following. You guys are following this very well. Okay. All right, I'm beginning to see some answers here. So we start February 1, February 1st, February 1. We have 14 days or 2 weeks release cycle. When does this end? I've only seen answers for 2 people, from only 2. So do I only have 2 people, watching this? Am I talking to, okay. All right, so I'm getting very interesting answers here. This is going to be interesting, right? I see a lot of 12. I see a lot of 14. I see a lot of 15. I see 15 as well. I see 16 as well too. Okay. Yeah. We we're not working on weekends, right? It's just business days, right? It's just keep in mind it's just business days. So it's just Monday to Friday. Yes. Chris, you have moved from your 15th to now 18th. Wow. Wow. You need to explain to us. Because you're also saying 18 now. Okay. So, when the sprint starts, Monday, February 1st, February 1, right? That's the beginning of the sprint. Once they start in the morning, once the sprint start, we will end on the 12th, guys. We will end by COB on the 12th, because it's 2 weeks sprint, guys, working days, Monday to Friday. The first week is going to be from the 1st February to Friday 5th of February, right? And the second week is going to be from the 8th to the 12th, right? So this is why I deliberately put this calendar over here, so that we'll be able to grasp this concept very well. So from the 1st of February, from February 1, we counted now 14 days, right? Excluding weekends. Nobody works on Saturday and Sunday, right? So working days only. So Monday 1st, we go all the way to the 12th, right? So by day 12 of February, that will be the end of the first sprint. And then the second sprint will start from when? I want you guys to put it over there, and then end at what date? So let's say February 1 is the first sprint that we are developing new features. We're going to start counting down. So February 1, we start 12, we've ended. So now the second sprint is going to start from when and end at where? Put in the chat box. Let me know you're following. Okay. Okay, all right. So the second sprint, or sprint 2, will now, there is a second release cycle, will now start from the 15th and will end the 26th. Yes. All right. So it will start from the 15th, because we've just ended another sprint there, the first sprint. So we go into the second sprint, we pick up new product feature sets, and then we start immediately. We don't have time, because we're building so much. We have so much to build, right? So many things to develop. Is Emmanuel Japan on the line? I haven't seen a response from you yet. Okay, he's still here. All right. Yeah, so we start from the 1st, and then we continue to the 12th, and then from the 15th, we end the 26th, right? We will end on the 26th, according to the calendar, right? So guys, pay attention to the calendar over here. We're working with this calendar right here, right? We're working with this calendar right here. So the sprint 1, that's when it's going to end. Sprint 2, that is when it's going to end. Let me see what's next. No, I can't talk about agile ceremonies right now, because there's a lot of things I need to unpack. So I'm going to open up the floor. I'm going to open up, so you guys can ask questions, right? I'm left with about some 5 minutes or so. I'm sure I can't talk about agile ceremonies. It's going to be so much I need to unpack. So I cannot deal with the time that I have right now. Maybe I can talk about one of the agile ceremonies. No. Okay, let's do with quick questions and answers, and then tomorrow, we can start fresh and talk about agile ceremonies. All right. So I'm gonna unmute you guys. You guys are free to unmute yourself, and then I'm gonna take questions here. All right. And then you guys are welcome to unmute yourself. Yes, Francis, I see you type something in there. Go ahead with your question. Let's See, it's agile, right? Agile, what did we say in our manifesto? Interactions, right? We need to talk. We talk to ourselves more than we'll follow tools and processes. Okay.
Okay, so I just typed the question I was asking if, yes, all things being equal, some projects you may be able to get it done, you know, after the deadline. But what if, you know, it goes past that? What do you do?
Yes, that's a valid question. That, you know, some product, you know, product feature sets might elapse, right? There's going to be a lap over between one sprint to the other, right? Yes, this is going to happen. Well, there are a couple of things that we need to look at when this situation, you know, becomes a habit, right? When this thing keeps happening all the time. And we'll get to some of these things. I'll begin to explain some of this concept to you guys. So that means it's either we are underestimating our product feature set with our capacity or our bandwidth. We are underestimating it, or we are overestimating. Either one or the other, right? There might be a couple of things such as, you know, complexity, other things that I will open up these discussions maybe in a couple of next sessions. But when we properly estimate the stories, and tomorrow when we talk about, you know, one of the agile ceremonies, it's called grooming, right? We groom the story, we refine the story. When we do a good job with grooming sessions, right, with refinement, when we have meetings, what we call refinement meetings. So when we come with refinement meetings, when we do a good job with our refinement meetings, right, we'll be able to achieve a certain level of accuracy when it comes to our product feature set estimation or our story point estimation. So if we're able to groom the story very well, we're able to refine the story very well, then when we estimate the story and say this story is a 2-point story, or 3-point story, which translates into maybe 3 days of work, then we should not have stories, you know, overlapping. That should not happen, right? Some of the things that I've just said, some of the keywords I've just said is new to you, but, you know, as we open up this discussion from tomorrow with different ceremonies, I'll begin to talk about some of this in the right, you know, proper context. All right, guys, question about the calendar and all those type of things. If anybody has any issues, you know.
Yeah, about the calendar, can you go back again? Calendar.
Yes, sure, I can do that. So with Agile and with Scrum specifically, let me be specific here, right? Because Kanban, we don't do anything time, iterations, and release cycle. There's nothing like that, right? So with Scrum, organizations usually they will say, as for us, it's going to be a policy, right? They are free to choose whatever days that they want to use, whether 14 days, whether 2-week cycle. Some companies they might use maybe 3, some companies might use 4. It does not matter to any one of us. It's just a company policy. That's how they want to release. That is fine. That is their own thing, right? So if they, as a company, as an organization, it is our policy that we have 2 weeks release cycle. That means that what that translates into is, 2-week cycle, that means 14 days. And typically, we don't work on weekends. Saturdays and Sundays are off days. So when we start on a Monday to Friday, that is the first week. We count that as the first week of our 2 weeks release cycle. The following week, or the week that starts immediately after when the first week comes to an end, it's going to be our second week or our 14 days week, right? We get into our 2 weeks. So once we start the Monday, the 8th, for instance, as you see it display here boldly on the screen, on the 8th of February, that's going to be second week. We are getting second week. On the 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, that is a Friday. So typically, the 2 week cycle that we have as as our Scrum has come to an end, right? Monday the 15th, we started a new sprint. Monday the 15th, that's going to be the beginning of a new sprint. So that is how we count. If the company, again, we're doing 2 weeks release cycle. So as you work with your team, you guys will begin to see, oh, we have 2 weeks release cycle. So you guys plan, prioritize stories and say, okay, this sprint or this release cycle, every team and we'll be talking about this in the next couple of days. We have what we call sprint velocity, right? I'm talking about some of these things that, tomorrow and the next day, maybe Monday, we'll start talking about some of these things. We have what we call the sprint velocity. Now, sprint velocity is nothing else but the sprint or the team bandwidth, our capacity. Every team, they have a certain number of stories that they can accommodate or they can work on at any point in time, right? They cannot do anything extra. If you add more features and more stories to their bandwidth, to their capacity, you are putting the entire project in a situation where they will not be able to deliver. It might impact negatively on the sprint, right? So every team, they have gauged themselves. There are 4 developers, 5 developers. There are 2 QAs that are going to be the testing activities. They start working. This is a number of stories that they can work on, right? So we have what we call sprint velocity, right? Sprint velocity, that means we have maybe 25-point story, maybe 30-point story, maybe 40-point story. So we'll talk about how we get into all this story pointing and, how do we arrive at, 2 points, 3 points, and how we aggregate all these stories. And we say this sprint or this team, we are a 25-point story team, or what we call the sprint velocity, right? We'll get into all of this, stuff.
The last time you said that if it goes beyond 4 weeks, it becomes a waterfall, right?
Yes. If we are not doing this, we just working, we are not observing. Typical waterfall projects, there's nothing about sprint activities or sprint agile rituals. We don't do anything like that, right? When we are doing BLD, it is different. Waterfall project is very, very different from agile.
Please, just not to drag things. If the project the sprint is to start, let's say, on the 3rd.
It cannot start on the 3rd. Typically, it will start on a Monday. But even if it starts from the 3rd, we still have to be able to end, 2 weeks exactly, like 5 days for the first week. We still have to count it that way.
Yes. So that as you said, typically it should start the beginning on a Monday, but if it's on the 3rd on a Wednesday, where would it end?
So when it starts on the 3rd, for instance, from the 3rd, that's Wednesday, 4th Thursday, 5th Friday, 8th, 9th, that's going to be our first week, right? So the second week is going to be 10th, 11th, 12th, 15th, and 16th, and then it ends.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes. And is it only for not software project? Is Agile only for not software development?
Yes. Are you talking about the Agile, like for software development? Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Agile. We use it for project management, especially in the IT type of environment.
Okay.
And I also wanted to ask.
These days, Agile concept is becoming popular. A lot of people are adopting it, even in manufacturing, even in other places. They all see the relevancy or the kind of benefit that Agile brings to the table and how fast, flexible, how things can get. And, if you're a company and you're very conscious about, production, you want to be Agile. Agile, brings all the benefits, to the table.
So between SCRUM and then how do you call
KANBAN?
Yeah, which one is good?
Well, it depends on what we're doing. So for me, for instance, I've held teams. I'm almost like an agile evangelist. I can advocate for the right framework to be used at any type of environment that I go when I'm consulting. And, I can advocate for, KANBAN for, production support issues, right? In a typical custom in-house development type of environment or just, the setting, I'll go for SCRUM, right? And, for that purpose, right? And then maybe if they have, production support team, I'd rather have the production support team run on, KANBAN because you don't have any time box. So as issues come in, deferred issues come from the production website, as customers report issues and other things begin to show up, we can take our time and fix those issues for them without any lanes, just like we have the 2 weeks sprints in Scrum, right? Then so the development team can have that, and then production support, that's the work on issues for in the production environment or maintenance environment, we can have Kanban for that.
Okay. Can you say that Kanban is somehow similar to waterfall, because there are no timelines, and with waterfalls, you're saying that sometimes it can take you to about a month or more. So is it the same as Kanban, where because they are not timeline like Scrum, you can even take a month or more? Is there any?
Yeah,
Can you see this?
yeah, you're right. You're right a little bit about what you're saying, but here's the thing. Kanban, you cannot compare Kanban. There's a huge difference. You guys have no experience in waterfall project. Waterfall can drag to like 9 months before you even see a small demo of a feature, right? So you do not want to compare Kanban to waterfall. Waterfall is a different experience altogether, right? Where you do elicitation for a couple of months, get things done, and then you will transition into now design phase, develop planning phase. It can take also a couple of months as well, and then you start development work. And then when development work, all the product feature set is done, completed, you hand it over, the project over to QA. And then QA will also take their time to do all their testing. And then if there are issues, defects, bugs that are discovered, the QA will now report that these issues back to development. Development will fix these issues, or come back to QA for retesting, and then before it will begin to flow. And then maybe on the second time, they might not see any bugs or issues or defect, and now we are good to go to deploy, right? So it's a long haul, right? If it was a flight, it was this is a long haul flight, right? Like 18 hours non-stop flight, 15 hours non-stop flight, right? Long haul flight. So, you cannot compare that. But Kanban, even though we don't have these, time box iterations like 2 or 3 weeks, we still get things done much quicker, right?
Okay.
A whole lot faster.
Okay. Okay.
Yes, anything else? Let me look at the chat box. I've not been looking at the chat box. Let me see. Somebody got anything there? Okay. All right, guys. Nothing. Let me go around the table a little bit here. Reagan, nothing. Okay, Kojo, nothing, right? James, nothing. Emmanuel, nothing. Emmanuel Japan, nothing. Okay, Darkon,
Okay.
you don't have any questions?
No.
Yes, sir.
Yes. If, for example, the embedded the lending platform that we just developed the business requirement document on.
Yes, sir.
When we are with Agile, as you said, you look at the MVPs and you go with that in the planning. So if can you use an example, because with the lending platform we had various portals, so the lender, the borrower, and also in that setting, would a typical MVP be, say we are starting with the lender, or it will be on functionality based even within the lender?
Yeah, so we can still have all the lender, the provider, the borrower, and then the service platform all done, but there's going to be limited features on this platform, right? Because we want something that we can just go to the market. It's not like a showstopper. When we don't have these features, we will not die, right? We will not necessarily not be able to perform, right? So there's going to be limited features, especially on the service side and maybe lender platform, so that we can go to the market, quicker or maybe faster, right? But essentially, there are so many things that we can put on service platform, lender platform, that are sort of like aesthetics, cosmetic stuff, beautiful. But if we don't have it, if we don't ship it out, immediately in our MVP, it is not going to be a showstopper for us, right? We can still go to the market.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
All right, guys, it is already 8 o'clock. I know it's late somewhere. So we'll end it here. Tomorrow, we'll take off and then we'll start looking at the agile ceremonies. Yeah, someone
Nana,
something. Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Go on.
so you said you were going to send something to our mail about the SCRUM.
I was going to say something to your mail. Oh, okay. No. I said I was going to provision your account. I'll do that anyway. I'll do the the Jira account provisioning anyway. But I was going to send you guys this this assignment, and then maybe tomorrow I'll take my time and maybe work on a process flow diagram for you guys, and then the rest of the assignment you guys will do it. But that assignment is not going to be due till maybe this Sunday's week or something like that. But I will share it anyways, maybe by tomorrow's class or something like that. So there's more assignment. As this was saying, there's a lot of projects, a lot of assignment. It's hands-on, right? We don't like agile. We don't have time to endure a lot of documentation. Let's get more practicals done. That is all that we're going to be doing at work, right? From this point on, guys, keep this in mind as well. Everything that we're going to be doing here, this contributes almost about 60% to 70% of what you're going to be doing at work, right? All that I'm going to start talking about here in agile, right? Because I know, I can say on authority that what you guys are going to be working on is going to be agile, right? Well, who knows? Maybe somebody might work on a waterfall project, but I can say on authority that you guys are working in an agile environment. So whatever we say here it should be Bible for you. Take it as truth. Begin to take it in. Let it internalize, right? I want you to take it in, let it internalize, right? It's very important. Whatever we say from this point on, agile, all the practices, all the concept, all the keywords, make sure that you have full understanding. And then at the end of every session, I'm going to make sure that I have some time to take questions as well, because I know from this point on, this is going to be about 60% to almost 70%, right, of the work that you're going to be doing at work. 60%, 70%, right? So this is important. One day I'll try and see if I can bring Nate on the call, maybe Eben or somebody on the call, or maybe Kofi or somebody on the call. Eben, Kofi, these guys are all in Ghana. They're working from Ghana, right? Eben, for instance, I think he was part of my last batch, and he started work last week, Monday or so. Immediately he started, the team is now new to agile, and now they depend on Eben to bring in all the agile standards and reshape and bring all the agile thing to the team. And Eben has to put a document together, presentation. Of course, I was looking over his shoulders. I was helping him, but he did most of the work because we've done this in training, right? He put all the agile ceremonies together, all the agile stuff, and then he presented to the team. The team is now adopting it, right, into what they're going to start using it. So all this 2-week cycle, you need to understand it, because you might go to an environment like Eben, right, where the team, they're in a waterfall. They're now trying to be agile. So they depend on you, right, to bring in all the agile stuff to them, all the agile goodies to them, right? So guys, like I'm saying, from this point on, everything that we're going to be talking about here is almost about, it constitutes about 60% of the work that you're going to be doing, right? So make sure there's an understanding, you get it, right? Because your team is going to depend on you. You're going to work with this hands-on. So make sure that if you don't understand anything, you raise your hand. There's no reason or there's no point for you to be shy here. We're all guys here, right? It's better for you to commit your mistakes here rather than go to the working environment and then be talking about something that you don't know, right? That will not be good. All right, guys, good night. We'll take off tomorrow.
Okay, thank you.